All right, welcome everyone. Hello and welcome to the Adobe Students channel. My name is Terry White and I'm happy to be streaming here live for you today on this beautiful Monday. And just let me get a couple things going here and we can start right in. Hello, hello, hello. Is it Moad? I'm saying your name correctly. If not, I apologize. Hello and welcome. All right. Okay, Victoria's in the house, Nicole's in the house, Terrence is in the house. Welcome, everyone. All right, I think we are ready to kick things off here. We're going to talk a little bit about Adobe Spark and just let you in on a couple of things that are new in Adobe Spark. Just a couple. Okay, everything's working and everything's up and running. Hello, Jim. Hello, Bo. Hello, is it Deborah? Welcome, everyone. And again, sorry for the delay, but my name is Terry White. I'm happy to be streaming here live today on Adobe Spark on the Adobe Student channel. So if you're a student, great. If you're not a student and just want to hang out and learn more about Spark, great. Either way, let's talk about what Spark is very quickly, and then we'll talk about the couple of things that are new. Thank you. I wish I could take credit for the background, but it is by that person over there. That's the person that created it. All right, so let me switch over to my computer. I've got Adobe Spark running in the background here on the web browser version of it. So for those of you who are new to Spark, let me explain what that means. Spark currently is in you can access it in one of two ways. You can go to spark.adobe.com and log in with your Adobe ID or social media and start using Spark. Or if you have an iOS device, for example, an iPhone, an iPad, iPod Touch, anything that can run apps from the App Store. You can also, for example, I've got my iPhone 10 here. I can just swipe up, get rid of my notifications there, and I can go in to my Adobe folder, and I've got Spark Post, Spark Page, and Spark Video. So they are iOS apps and web apps. The Android apps are in development. I don't have any timeline. I can't tell you that they're going to be ready tomorrow. I can't tell you they're going to be ready 6 months from now. I can't tell you when they're going to be ready because I can't tell you. And second reason is I don't know. All right, but with that said, the Android versions are coming. And I'm going to show you this on the web. That way it's a level playing ground for everyone. But just know that if you want to do this on your phone or your iPad or whatever, you can just download the apps free of charge from the Apple App Store at this point. All right, so let's get back to the web browser. And I've logged into Spark, so I'm just at spark.adobe.com, and I've also gone into the gallery. So if you're looking for inspiration, if you're looking for what other people have done with Spark, go to spark.adobe.com/gallery. That will show you the featured posts there. And I even have one that's featured here. If you go on to travel, you will see my Adobe Spark page from Iceland in 2016. I've been there twice. I have two, but the 2016 version is the one that's featured. And if you go in that one, you'll actually have a link to the 2017 version as well. So I kind of went back and edited that after the fact. But anyway, Spark Page, Spark Post, Spark Video are the tools. The gallery can kind of walk you through and show you what each one is all about. I'm going to show you a little bit about each one quickly, and then we'll talk about what's new. So once you're in the website or once you're in a particular app, you would go in and just click plus and decide what you want to build, a Spark Page, a Spark Post, a Spark Video. In terms of my usage, I use Spark Post pretty regularly. I would say several times a week, multiple times multiple times a week, maybe once a day for a social media post like on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. Spark Page is usually when I'm telling a story from something that I've done, like from an adventure, from a trip, from a photographic, from a photo shoot. And I want to not just share the pictures, but I want to also share the background information that went into making those pictures. And Spark Video, I love it, but I just don't use it as often because for video, I use Adobe Premiere Pro. I'm more of into the professional use of video that app provides. But Spark Video is definitely great for people that want to put together stories where they want to use pictures and movies or just pictures and words, and maybe even a talk track where you're going to walk people through something and you're just going to go ahead and do it. Is this available for the Middle East? I don't know. You can go to spark.adobe.com and you can let us know if you can get in or not. So the next thing is I want to go ahead and just do a Spark post. And you'll notice that it gives me a choice: start with branding, start from scratch. You will not have that choice in the free version. In other words, if you're just using Spark for free, then you'll just start from scratch or you'll start from a template. But if you are if you are a Creative Cloud member, one of the paid members, whether it's the photography plan or the full plan or anything in between, then you can also start by having your own brand. So you can have like your logo and your colors and things in that will give you branded templates for things that you want to do. So that's why the branding is there for me to start with. But if I don't want to start with a brand, I'm just just using it for free, then I can go to featured, and I can also start with any of these templates or starting points. So for example, if you see something that you like, but of course you want to change the words or you want to change the picture, or maybe you don't, maybe you just like it as is and you just want to use it. You can use pretty much anything as a starting point or a jumping off point, and then you can go in and add whatever else you want to add to it. So for example, if I were to say that, like I'm a travel person, so if I were to say, hey, I like this Instagram travel thing that just says, just go. I already like the text, but of course the picture's not mine, so I might want to use my own picture. So I can start with that one, and that will let me basically remix it. That will basically let me change it any way that I want. So if you want to use multiple images, that's a fairly new feature. You can have multiple images on the same layout now by choosing or combining images into a grid. That's not the new feature, but that's one of the newest features that's in Spark, where it used to be limited to just one image. You could have multiple text blocks, but one image at a time. Now you can have multiple images. So I'm going to stick with the one image, but I am going to go to resize, because one of the things I love about resize is that we give you all the social media sizes built in. So if you like, for example, I'm always doing Instagram stories and Snapchat stories, and that's a weird, skinny, tall format, and I can never remember the size of it. So I just go ahead and click Instagram story. It will resize the existing layout so that this will fit perfectly on an Instagram story. Now, of course, this one has a border around it, which I don't have to have. I can go ahead and extend that out and go right to the edge if I want, and we can make this go all the way to the edge. But if I were to export this out or save this out and then post this as an Instagram story, nothing would be cut off and it would fit perfectly. All right, so the next thing is, now that I've gone ahead and chosen this photo had a filter on it. So there are filters built in like colorize and multiply and darken. And I'm just going to say no filter. And you'll notice that there's the ability to trash the photo. Just go ahead and delete it. I don't need that photo at all. Maybe I'm going to replace it with a color or just a background, or I can replace it with an image. So if I say replace with an image, of course, I'm on my computer on the web version. So it's going to say, hey, do you want to upload a photo to use? Or do you want to find a free photo? Maybe you're not a photographer. Maybe you don't have a great photo of a place you're talking about going to. You can find free photos to use. You can, of course, license image or use images you've licensed from Adobe stock. You can use images in your Creative Cloud folder. You can use images in Lightroom, which I love because that's where I keep all my images, Dropbox, and Google Photos. So if I click on Lightroom, it'll start to bring up my my Iceland pictures, for example, or I can say, let me see my world traveler pictures, and that will start to bring up all the photography I've done from various places that I've been. So if I were to say, hey, I'm touting people or wanting people to just go to New York, then maybe I'll choose the Freedom Tower, make that my photo, And then I can just say, just go. Now, of course, that photo is wider than an Instagram story, so I can move it around and kind of set this where I want. And then, of course, I can click on the text. I can move the text around. I can size the text down. I can make the text wider. Basically, the text is already there. And, of course, I can just say, I can also edit the text. So if I wanted to double click, I can say instead of just go period, just go to NYC period. All right, so I can change that to whatever I want. And now that will keep the same style and everything that was originally in the photo. And of course, I can move it wherever I want. Now, let's say I've already changed the text. Maybe I don't like the style of it. Maybe I don't like the font. Maybe I don't like the color. Well, then you have the ability, of course, to go in and change it to anything that you want. There are lots of built-in fonts to choose from. You can also, of course, change the alignment. So instead of left, it can be centered, right. You can change the spacing between the lines. So I can get it tighter. I can get it more further apart. I can change the opacity. I can drop it down. That's all great. You can also use shapes. So I can say that I want, yep, got it. I can say that I want to have a shape behind it that kind of makes it stand out, especially if we're going to have it on a busy background. You can go in, and one of the newer ones, let's see if I can find it here. Oh, by the way, you also get various social media icons, which is great. So if you're trying to make a follow me post, you can do that. Let's see if I can find what I'm looking for here. That's just going to take away the shape. There we go. So this one is the one I just chose is basically a cutout. So you can see the picture inside the text. So that's another option that you can choose. And that's what I was looking for as far as an option for my text. So if you had big, thick, heavy text and the picture is not important, but you want to kind of use the picture to style the text, you can do that. But I'm going to go back to where we were. And let's say, again, I'm just not happy with the style of the type, but I don't want to make a cutout. I don't know what font I want to use. I don't know what colors I want to use. I don't know anything. Then you can go down to my favorite option under Style. You can click on Style and get the Style wheel. And it's like literally just spin the wheel until you find something you like. You don't spin it that way, by the way. But you can, of course, start turning the wheel until you see something you like. And then you can either go with that or you can modify it from that point. And as you keep turning, it'll just keep changing. So it starts to pick up the colors from your existing image. It starts to show you ones with different shapes behind them, different fonts, different colors. It basically, ooh, I kind of like that one. Let's go to NYC. Let's say I want to use that one. Then that one becomes the one that I can then go back and say, well, I kind of like it, but maybe I want to change the color of it. Maybe I want to change it to that. Maybe I want to make it lighter, whatever it is. You can then alter it from that point. And of course, you still have the ability to change the size to whatever you want. So everything I just showed you is inside the mobile app as well. And so if I were to do any of these things on my iPhone or iPad, they would work the same. Now, while we're here, let me show you one of the new features. So there's a couple new ones. Now, of course, before this update, you could install, or I'm sorry, not install, but you could add more type. You can add more pictures in a grid. You could add a logo if you're branded. The third choice here, but the new choice is actually adding an icon. Now, there are literally thousands of icons to choose from. So if I were to type in travel and do a search, it will literally list probably hundreds of different travel icons for me to pick from. And I could scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and it just keeps scrolling, just keeps building. Scroll and scroll and scroll until I found the travel icon that I like. So for example, I kind of like this one with the drink. I can go ahead and just click on it. That becomes my icon that I can, of course, pick up, move around, and I can then begin to start styling that. So if I wanted that to be a different color, I can make that a different color, maybe something more that will stand out against that background, maybe something like that. Don't really like that color, though, for this. All right, I'm having a hard time with color right now, but I can make this any color that I want it. Ooh, that kind of would look good maybe if it were up here. All right, so again, we can make that size down. And we can also tilt it, select the type, and maybe pull it down here, line it up with the type, and there we go. So now we got something balanced on the other side. So literally thousands of icons to choose from. So that is what's new as one of the new things inside of Spark. So you have the icons wherever you can bring in graphics. So it's not just for Spark Post. I believe the icons will also work on, I know they work on Spark Video, but I believe they also work on Spark Page. Don't quote me on that. I haven't tried it yet. All right, so once I'm done with this, I can choose to share it. So if this were it, if this were the post I wanted, since it's going on an Instagram story, I'd probably download it because I need to be an Instagram app and to add that as a story. But if I just wanted to share it out on my various social media channels as is, I can share it on Facebook, Twitter, email, or send the link to whoever I want to send the link to. But downloading it will actually take it off the web and download a file on your computer, which it just did. And I just told it to open it up, so it's going to open it up in Photoshop. And there it is. So there is the finished version. Now, it's not a layered file or anything. It's just the finished version of the flattened JPEG that it made for me. All right, so now let's pop back out. Let's go back to Spark. And let me go back to projects. Now that project just got added in. So if I were to now bring up the phone and I would bring my phone back over so you could see it. You just saw me create that live. I'm going to go to Adobe. I'm going to go to Spark Post, which also got a new update as of today, as a matter of fact. And when I go to Spark Post, hopefully I'm still logged in. We'll see. There we are. I'm going to go to My Post. Yes, I know, new icons. Thank you. My Post. And once this syncs up, it'll take a few seconds to sync it down from the web, but it should show me that new post, which it just did, right there. So even if I wanted to pick up where I left off, I could pick up where I left off, tap on that, and either continue editing it. So if I go back to edit, and if I wanted to change that type again, maybe I just don't like it, I have the same options here with the style wheel, and I could keep changing that, editing it, change what it says, change the color, change the font, whatever I want until I get what I wanted. So once you start a project on any platform, web, iOS, web, you can always pick it back up where you left off and continue working. So that's one of the new features was the icon. So now let's go on and let's talk about, I'll keep my phone open for this. Let's get out of Spark Post. Let's go to Spark Video. Spark Video is the other has the new feature in it. So when I go to Spark Video and I make a new video, notice it gives me some suggested templates to work with. Am I promoting an idea? Am I about to tell a story, tell what happened? Am I going to talk about a hero's journey, someone who overcame some great challenge? Am I going to do a show and tell, maybe a product review? I like to do tech reviews. Whatever it's going to be, I can pick the one I want to start with. Now, once I pick one to start with, let's say show and tell, pick this one, then it starts to let me add in the things that I want. So for example, there's a quick little message here, introduce yourself, make it personal to connect with your audience. I can close that message. And now what it's asking me for is, what do you want your first frame or slide of your video to be? So for example, I can tap the plus sign. I can get the same options of picking something off my device, picking a video, picking a photo on my phone, or I can grab them from the same sources that we talked about before. So I can grab something from, if I go to photo, I can grab something from Creative Cloud, Lightroom, Google Photos, take a picture with the device, so forth and so on. Now, I did not take a picture with the device on the computer because even though it does have a built-in webcam, that's not usually what you're going to use it for. All right, so again, I can grab my Lightroom photo, so forth and so on. So let's go ahead and grab a Lightroom photo one more time. And let's go ahead and grab that World Traveler album, which has got a lot of nice travel photos in it. And let's see if those will load. Try one more time. Oh, For whatever reason, it doesn't want to load those. All right, let's pick a different one. Oh no, my images don't want to load. All right, let me try this one more time. Spark Video. I am connected. I'm connected to the internet, otherwise it wouldn't have shown it to me. Show and tell, yes. Add a photo from my Lightroom. There we go, same albums, yes. Here we go, now it's starting to come in. All right, so let's say that I just kind of like this spiral staircase. I want to use that as my photo. What's new, and here we'll say done. What's new is you'll notice in the upper right-hand corner, there are 4 icons. There's the grid icon, so when you want to like divide your frame into multiple photos. There's the theme icon, so I can pick a different theme for my video. This also would be the same as it would be in Spark Page. Then the third icon is the one that's new. That's the ability to go from widescreen video, which is great when someone's going to look at your video on a TV or something that's normally widescreen, like a computer monitor. But it is probably one of the least favorite formats when people are looking at your video on a mobile device. Square video has way more interaction and way more views on a mobile phone or a mobile device than wide video does. Now I know I'm a video guy, so wide video is definitely the way I will always do my professional videos. But I have to think of where will people consume this video the most, and if it's going to be on their phone, then I'm probably going to want to pick wide, because square, because a square video will give them more real estate. They won't have to rotate their phone. You think about it, it only takes you 2 seconds to turn your phone, but it just seems like a big chore when people are wanting to watch a video. They just want to hold it like they've been holding it and watch and enjoy the video. And that's why square format is probably going to be the best if your video is going to be consumed on a mobile device. All right, so square and icons are the big new things in Adobe Spark. And of course, you've got Spark Page, Spark Video, and Spark Post to work with. So now if I put my phone away and go back to the web, I just want to try one thing really quick and then we'll call it a day. We're already a little bit over time. If I go to Spark Page and I say, what's new in Adobe Spark? And I were to add my subtitle by Terry White. And I were to add my first picture, which again, I get those same choices. So we'll use same Lightroom photos. I get a much bigger choice to choose from here. Let's go to travel. Let's go ahead and grab one from my Detroit skyline here. Actually, that one's probably going to bring out a ton of photos. All right, too many photos to pick from. Let's go back and let's choose something a little smaller. How about Hong Kong? All right, I'll choose this nice Hong Kong skyline, and we'll make that our background photo. All right, so now in Spark, I would just scroll down, and I don't have to wait for that photo to render. I would scroll down and start writing my story. And let's go ahead and say that we want... I just want to see if this gives me the choice. I don't want to, hang on for a second. I have not tried this yet. I want to do this from here actually. All right, and I'm not seeing the icon choice here. So Spark Page may not have the icons, but Spark Post and Spark Video do for sure. So I just wanted to check and see if that was an option here, and I don't see it. Unless I'm just missing it, but I don't see it. So it would be normally under photo or would have its own button, but currently it does not. So again, if I wanted to continue telling my story now, I would just go ahead and start telling my story with the text and photos and video links that I want to use. Then this is published when this is done as an HTML5 web page. So when I share this, this will give me a link. I can share that link with anyone. They would be able to view my story and scroll the pages. So for example, if we go back to the gallery, I can show you one of my ones that's finished, We go down here to travel and we go to Iceland. This is my finished Spark page from Iceland. And of course, scrolls, tells a story, so forth and so on. So beautiful pictures, text. I think I put a video in here at some point, but that's the way a Spark page works. So it's just a link to an HTML5 page without you having to code the page and create any of these effects. And yes, you can even incorporate video into it as well. All right, you get the idea. All right, so with that said, that is what's new inside of Spark, Adobe Spark. So icons for Spark page, and for Spark post and Spark video, and square format for Spark video, especially if you're going to use the video or show the video on a mobile device. So with that said, I've been kind of monitoring the questions there. I don't really see anything new. I don't have anything new to announce with XD and exporting out different formats because there's nothing new to talk about. But thanks for the question, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye, everybody.